Aloha, I'm Dr. Matt James, Master Trainer at the Empowerment Partnership, and I wanted to talk to you about an amazing technique that we teach in our trainings called Mental and Emotional Release, MER, Mental and Emotional Release. It's a technique that helps you let go of your anger, your sadness, your fear, guilt, any other negative emotion, your limiting beliefs, and they're gone. I know. It's a pretty big claim right off the bat, telling you you can be totally free of your anger, your sadness, your fear, your guilt, to be free of your limiting beliefs, to have it completely gone from your conscious, your unconscious mind, and to begin to move forward in your life. That's MER, Mental and Emotional Release. Let's talk about it. It draws on a whole bunch of different concepts. The idea that you have an internal storage facility called your timeline. Aristotle talked about your timeline. This goes back a couple thousand years. A guy by the name of William James wrote a book called Principles of Psychology, 2 volumes in fact. And in it, he talked about how we have an internal storage facility called a timeline. It's this idea that we hold things at the level of the unconscious within this timeline. In the late 80s, my father developed an earlier technique, an earlier version of this, and we began to notice that it helped people to let go of their baggage. In the 90s, we began to refine this technique, tie it into working with individuals one-on-one. When I became a doctor of psychology, I began to work specifically with other psychologists, other medical doctors, to take them through the process, teach them how to do it with their clients, get feedback from them. And we refined the process over the past decade and developed it into mental and emotional release. A technique that now has been clinically studied in an academic setting, and also with a psychiatrist in Orange County, helped well over 300 people now overcome massive traumas, phobias, post-traumatic stress disorder, you name it, and gotten phenomenal results. The technique draws on the idea that this thing that we hold on to, this baggage, I use the term baggage pretty loosely, but just think of baggage as a trapped energy, an anger, a sadness, a fear that you won't let go of. That over time, maybe you'd be able to let it go, but right now you're holding on to it, you're identifying with it. In some of the ancient cultures, when negative emotions came up, you celebrated it. You thought, this is an amazing opportunity for me to be free of it. In Western culture, if that baggage comes up in our face, man, we shove it back down. We hold on to it. We refuse to deal with it. In some instances, people medicate unnecessarily. And I believe that medication is good. I do. I believe as a doctor of psychology that medication serves a purpose. And yet the people that I work with, the other medical doctors, the licensed professionals, they have the same opinion that I have, that a medication should stabilize you and then deal with what the real issue is. In research that was done by one of my students named Dr. Patrick Scott, he's in Nevada. He has a clinic that has 8,500 active patients. He's the co-founder and director of a clinic there where he treats people, not just one-on-one, but oversees the other clinicians who work with patients. He did a study, and he compared mental and emotional release with cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Cognitive behavioral therapy has been found to be extremely effective in the treatment of clinical depression. It took 13 45-minute sessions with the cognitive behavioral therapy to measure a reduction in depressive symptomology in his study, meaning 13 sessions, the depression began to come down a little bit. They had, I think it was about overall 71% effectiveness rate, 11% had a rehospitalization, and I think it was 18% had a relapse, meaning that 71% effective treatment for clinical depression. That is an amazing technique until you compare it to mental and emotional release. Sorry about that. Until you compare it to mental and emotional release. And then you look at the treatment protocol. 45 minutes, 5 sessions of MER, all patients, all depression at 0. No more depression symptomology across all patients after mental and emotional release. 4-year follow-up, no one has returned to the clinic. No rehospitalization, no relapse. I'm writing a book on this. Dr. Patrick Scott is contributing to this book. Imagine being able to completely get rid of clinical depression. Is that incredible? Mental and emotional release was studied in Jamaica by one of my other students, Dr. Rose Johnson. In both of these studies, I served as a subject matter expert. Dr. Rose Johnson, one of her students, took at-risk youth, children who were not going to be going on to high school, who had scored below 30% on their grade 9 aptitude test, took them through the process, helped them let go of their negative emotions, and they were able to measure behavior changes. Fighting stopped. Depression gone. Anxiety gone. Students no longer getting into trouble. Other students who didn't receive it, who were in the control group, they continued to fight. They continued, some of them getting expelled. The teachers were begging them to apply this technique to all of the kids because the teachers saw an immediate shift in the behavior of these kids. How amazing. That study for me was it touched my heart because as a parent, I have 2 kids. And to read some of the self-reports from the parents who were talking about how it transformed their kid and it's like gave their child back to them again. It's incredible to hear that. One of my other students, Dr. Larry Moya, he's in Orange County, psychiatrist, works with people one-on-one. To the book that I'm writing, he contributed over 200 case studies. We weeded it down because we needed to keep the book a little bit shorter. He narrowed it down to a few that were just absolutely inspiring. People who were suicidal and completely got rid of that. I worked with a guy one-on-one who had post-traumatic stress disorder from having served in Afghanistan. All of these instances, all of these cases, extreme cases, where this technique has helped people to overcome the deep level baggage that has been holding them back in their life. It's amazing because what that means is that it works with anger, it works with sadness, it works with fear, it works with guilt, and it also works with limiting beliefs, these self-imposed beliefs that prevent us from truly being who we want to be, doing what we want to do, and having what we are meant to have in life. Mental and emotional release is a technique that we demonstrate in some of our live trainings and teach in our more advanced trainings. Teach you how to do it, not just with yourself, but with others as well. We also teach a training called the Empowering Your Life Weekend, a training where we guide the group through doing the release process, teach you how to experience your emotions in a healthy way, how to cultivate positive emotions and get rid of those negative emotions that have been holding you back. That's a new process that we're going to be putting together, and we hope that you come and experience this, whether it's in our live events, whether it's on our online trainings, or reading more about it as our book, Empowering Your Life, comes out. Hope this inspires you to deal with your own baggage and to let go of your own stuff in life and to truly live an inspired life. Take care. Aloha.